it's very important to live your life. People think that, or a young artist to think that I just have to be very focused in this area and I have to uh, eat very well and I had to sleep at 10 o'clock so I can be very
Yeah.
yeah, it's great to be so mature, but in the same time, uh, you should not experience everything in life to bring it on the stage, but you have to experience something in your personal life so you can keep it for yourself and use it for the stage. Because if you never felt any emotions about your personal life, how you gonna convince 800 people? Hello.
Hi, Branimir.
Hey, how are you? Do you hear me? Everything well?
Everything is fine, yes. It's so
Thank
great
you.
to meet you here on Zoom.
Great to meet you too.
It's lovely, the pictures that you have there in the background.
Thank you. Yes, there are actually more of them are like presents from my friends from different shows or for my studies when I had, so there are different things. So actually I didn't bought by myself none of them. It's just presents from different friends, yeah.
Yeah, but it's great that you have them there. And are you very sentimental?
Yes and no. I mean, I think always that you have to go forward and to do your work and not to think what you did already, because it's just you've done it already, so you cannot like change it. But when you get nice pictures and photos from your friends and you're like, I have to do something with that. You cannot put them.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's also that that idea of where you were and where you now. You know, it's sort of that you can see that. Yeah.
Yes, of course. It's a nice process as well to see yourself and to see as well some parts where it was your first role or something, and it's and it's very very nice to have these memories, of course.
But you're based in Vienna?
Yes.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Albania, from Shkodra. I don't think that many people doesn't know. I mean, lately I know that many of my colleagues and friends, even from here, they're always asking about Albania, because before it was not so possible 30 years ago or something to be able to travel in Albania, but now everybody wants to go to these beautiful beaches and yeah, it is a lovely country that has their own history, of course, but yes, I'm from Albania.
Well, I also didn't know much about Albania. I photographed for this project that I did over lockdown. I also photographed somebody from Albania, and that was the only person from the only singer from Albania that But now I can't remember. I can't remember his name, but I'll write it to you.
Okay.
He's married to an Australian singer.
I think it's Elson Braha.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Tenor, yes. Very good tenor.
That's right, yeah. But now tell me, so in Albania, do you come from a musical family, or how did music start?
No, at all. It started that I was 7 or 8 years old, and my sister, my bigger sister, she is 5 years older than me. She had to sing in choir in school, and I had to wait my big sister to go home, so I would sing as well, and she was actually being very annoyed from me because she thought that I'm like ruining the core class, and the teacher was like, no, leave your brothers to sing. And then I was very happy that my sister was trying to to make me to be quiet, and the teacher was like, no,
Oh
let him
yeah.
sing. And then I was like, you see, your teacher. And I started to sing, and then immediately for this, it was a holiday or something in our school, an important day. Then I sang a song with 8 years old, um, a child children's song, and yeah, so where it started, and then I went to a music school with 10, and I started to sing there, and then after that, I with 16 I went to a talent show in Albania, Star Academy. It's a pop show, and it was a great experience, but as well for me very strange because I had to live for 3 months with 8 dancers and 8 singers, 24 hours with cameras. And
Oh wow.
yes, we had a show every Saturday live, and every week somebody was leaving the house, and we had to sing 3 songs, and were like two parts, two teams, the blue and the white team. I was part of the white team, so it was very challenging and very hard for 16 years old. Like I
Oh
remember
yeah.
that I could not have any contact with my parents, with no one, no phone, no nothing. It was great because you could be very concentrated, but at the same time I wanted to ask my parents, my sisters, my to know how I'm doing, and it was a
Yeah.
very nice experience. But for 16 years old, I think it was very very hard to deal with. All I was the youngest there, and it
Mm.
was very difficult because I went until the final, so I went through the whole show.
Oh.
So, so it was very intense. And actually, one week before, I was really, I can't anymore. I want to go home. And then they even let me to talk with my dad, and I had a phone
Mm.
call with my father, and I was like, I can't anymore. And I started crying, and he was like, just stay there.
Mm.
You made it so far, you can make it for one week. We're all fine. And then I said, okay, I will stay one week more. And I stayed one week more until the big final, and I made it third prize. And I
Wow.
I was not so I know how it sounds, but I was not caring so much. I was like, I want to just go home. So
Really?
it was very strong experience. It's with 16, you're not prepared without not having a family that is in the showbiz. It's for you very new everything. And because it was as well a talent show, you have to be part of the show as well. So you had to be concentrated in your work, but people are watching you 24 hours. So you have to create a sympathetic character, or you just have to be how you are, and people can like you or not. And that for 16 years old, you're too naive to think for how to present yourself. You're just
Exactly.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but that you came out of there and still sang, and you're still singing. So that must mean that you really want to sing.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
because I had this experience with television, and then I was like, okay, I like it, but maybe I want to go to the theater.
Mm.
So then with
But now
17,
I just want to ask, so initially when you sang in the choir, so that was more classical singing. So, and then you
no,
went,
no,
no,
was actually songs for children. So
everything. Oh,
totally.
okay. Yeah.
Then when I moved to the music school with
Mhm.
10 years old, then I started to play an instrument, and I started to have a
Okay.
classical lessons for classical singing. Yes.
Mm. But okay, tell me now. So, after this amazing experience, this amazing and daunting experience from this television show, um, what was it exactly that made you think? Okay, so you said you wanted to go into more theater, but classical singing then.
For everything, because I love as well to act. I don't see myself always like a singer. I think it's very, you have to know how you act, how you move, and everything. And I remember in one of these live shows in this television, I imitated all the jury that was in front of me, and it was like 10 huge personalities in Albania and different ages, and I choreographer, singers, and everybody. I imitated all of them without being shy, and they started. It was one of the what the director said back then, that it was one of the most high points in the views back then, because it was very funny how I was so
Yeah.
courage to be in front of everybody. And I remember then was like a little pause, and everybody came to me and was like, "You have to go and act. You have." Even
Really?
though I was singing my way, Frank Sinatra, it was a pop show, but I was singing these classical songs like Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, Andrea Bocelli. I was singing all. I was 16, but still I was singing these hard songs, and a bit like for this talent show, a bit old classic, but it was very important to have that part as well, and not just to sing the typical modern pop
Oh, yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
And still, I was like, but I'm singing so many difficult stuff, and everybody was like, "Yes, you sing good, but you're acting as well, like great." And this made me as well
Amazing.
to think to that the theater, maybe it's my goal.
Mhm.
And with
And
17, then I did the audition in University of Music in Tirana, and I got accepted. And after 1 year, I liked it, but I thought I wanted something else. And then I started to search, and I was okay. Why not Vienna? My uncle is living in Vienna since 20 years, and he was always like, "Why you don't try it here? Come here, come in Vienna. Here it's a place for the classical music." And this is how I decided to come in Vienna, and I did the audition in MOOC for solo gesang, for solo singing, and I got in. I came just for 5 days in Vienna. I bought a ticket for 5 days, and
wow.
then I got in without any huge preparations with a teacher or with somebody. Just like I was very surprised, because I saw people there was talking with other uh, candidates there, and they said like, oh, that they are since months or years living in Vienna and trying to have a place. And for me, it happened maybe because I really didn't have any attention, and I didn't
Yeah.
knew where I'm
Yeah.
going. I
Mm.
didn't knew where I'm going. I was like, oh, in Albania I did this and that, so
Mm.
I had a lot of maybe stupid motivation, but
No, but confidence. Yeah.
I was like very confident
Mm.
that now I don't have it, but it was really funny to
Yeah,
be
but
so.
I hear that so often where people tell, that they said it was just something, the path just opened up, it
Yeah,
was just like, yeah, here I am and I'm doing it. So, and unexpectedly, actually. So it's great that happened for you, and that you
yeah,
had that confidence to just think, I'm going to go for it.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
without thinking too much. I think when you start to think too much, then it's where the
Yeah,
problem starts. You just have sometimes to jump and to go for it.
exactly. I'm all for that. That idea of just jumping. I always think you just jump, and when you're in the water, you figure out how to swim.
Yeah, of course. But you have to know how to
Yeah.
swim a bit
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
that will be a big problem. But yeah.
Yeah. So, you studied then in Vienna, and um, could you see that this experience of being in this television show, because there you must have also learned a lot about performing and stage presence and that sort of thing. Did that come in handy when you studied singing?
Yes, it's very actually important because like are some rules that for me were already like done from this television show. How to present yourself, how even to go for an audition, how to dress for an audition, how to dress for a concert. And I saw that many colleagues were like were not in that phase. And for me, it was weird. But then I remembered that I had an experience behind me. But for many stuff and how to not be very complicated and how just to do the work and not to be like, but I don't want to do this, but no, this is too much. Or this part was for me like, I think very easy. I am a very easy person, I think, to work. And I know that it's a stress. I know that I had this pressure to be every Saturday in a live show, that it has to be everything correctly and right. And that the time is very important, that timing is very important, that how you present yourself is very important, that nobody cares what happens to you, but you have right now to give a message to the audience. All of this stuff, it's to be professional in your work. And this I was for me then a easy part, I have to say, to deal to put this way of showing yourself in a right way, let's say, yeah. Or how to sell yourself. I knew which role it's for me, and I knew even though some friends, colleagues will be like, "Ah, but you can sing this." I will try it, but I knew like to see the whole, how I look, how tall I am, and everything. I know that I'm not the type for that, and I'm okay with that. And what it makes me very sad is that many singers get concentrated in one little thing and says like, no, but I want to sing this role because I know. And you want to say like, you maybe never will sing this role. Maybe you can try some other stuff. And it's important to have your eyes open to see different stuff. My first production in Vienna was a acting piece for Maxim Gorky. Like I went to sing for a piece, and then the regisseur was like, "I'm doing a acting piece, and I would love to have you there." And I was like, should I do or not? And then was my second year in Vienna, and it was a huge role and too much text. And I said yes. And everybody said, like, you're crazy that you said yes. But in the end, it went everything so well that, and they said, like, but you are studying singing. Why are you doing now this acting? Like, these things to put everything in a box. Like, you are in this way and you should do just this role or just this opera. Or that's why I like theater, that you can experiment everything. And I am happy that I have this possibility to sing musical, to sing operetta, to sing opera, to do a acting piece. Like all of this kind of arts are part of my myself, and I love that I can jump to all of these genres and not to say to myself, oh, I don't sing this role, this is not for me, and I didn't study to sing musical, or I didn't, or I will not do these movements, or no, I will not dance. And this is where I learned it's still a business. Of course you are on stage, and of course it's you are giving your emotions, and of course it's a special profession because you're connecting your heart, your soul, your emotion, your voice, and everything, your body, everything. You have to be 100%, and of course it's an emotional job, but in the end it's a job. And many people are too emotional and they forget that in the end it's a business, and people cast you as well for kind of type, for a kind of personality that you have, and it's okay.
And I assume that also doing these different things, they all connect with each other, because then if you did one thing, it helps you when you do another thing as well.
Of course, and all are same emotions. You know, even if you're playing in different times or different, for example, right now I'm playing in Titanic, and I am in the Steuer, how it says when the
Yeah.
iceberg crashes to us. And I have this dramatic moment that I say like, you see how big the iceberg is in front of my eyes, and it's this death fear that you have. And this I learned it as well when I did an acting piece, for example. It was the same fear, the same experience, the same way. And of course, with this experience that people would tell to me like, why are you doing this, why are you doing that, it's everything so connected, and I'm so grateful that I was not thinking in one way and saying, no, I will just do these roles that I really love and I dreamed to do, and I will not keep myself open for other possibilities. Yeah.
Well, it's when you talk about that now, I'm thinking there you also delve into another emotion that you can add again to something else that you work on. So how wonderful that you can see that you can that you very much focusing on the present, on where you are and
Yeah.
what you can experience from that moment.
Yes, I think it's the most important part of our work. I did as well many nice work or nice roles, and maybe it comes again a production that I don't have again that nice role. I have to sing an ensemble or something. I still enjoy it, and I don't think, yeah, I wish I could sing again this role in this piece. I'm like, no, now you're doing this part, and it's still fun, and it's. I think this to have too much to be too proud in our profession is as well not so good. I think it ruins your freedom of doing your job
And
because
also the joy of doing it, because if you're
yeah,
always wishing for something else, or if you're always thinking, okay, no, you know, I want that part, then you also not taking in the experience of where you are at that moment.
exactly, because that's why then you can have fun. And what's the
Yeah,
most important part? Because this job it's enough difficult to make it more difficult. Like it takes too much time. I work like 7 days in a week. I work very hard, and I know that it takes a lot of my personal life as well. And that's why I try the time that I'm in theater to make it beautiful for myself and not to make it stressful for myself, because
yeah.
then why are you doing it?
But do you think also for singers or for young artists, there's this a competition, and I think also in Vienna, where there are so many of you on such a high level, that there's this competition of it has to be the best, or you know, where am I now? So that many of them, many are young singers and musicians don't have the time to really enjoy where they are and take this journey very slow to where it's going, that this instant success is almost a pressure that's been put on them.
Yeah, but I have to say, this pressure, it's a part that artists put it by themselves.
Okay.
This is how I think. I think it's a pressure from outside, but I think it's a pressure that you decide to give to yourself. You decide to make yourself with this huge overthinking and saying, like, sometimes you have to see yourself from outside. And maybe this is how it works. Sometimes, even in a moment that I was after COVID, that everything was like shut down and I didn't have any job or something, I try to see myself outside of me and to be like, yeah, right now you don't have any job, right now you don't have this, you have nothing. If I will have a friend that it's me, what I would say to him and how I will deal. What then I was like, these things are working, these things are not working. Maybe you can do this, maybe you can do that. And that's how I try to see myself from outside of me and not being very concentrated on myself or very emotional or very um, egocentric as well. It's my roles in my life. And like, yes, now you're living in this moment. You don't have any work. Now you have to deal with this. How are you going to deal with this? situation, then it's in your hands. And I think this bubble thing, it's actually this pressure that artists put for each other. I I see many times colleagues of mine in the street or something, and I ask them, "How are you?" And they start to say, like, "I am singing here, I'm doing this," and I'm saying, like, "How are you?" And then they are like, "What do you mean? I'm fine, but I'm singing in this theater, this role," and I'm like, "Great." And then they think that I can have some jealousy that I'm not asking for the roles, but I'm like, no, I'm asking how are you? It's important to know how are you and to know really it's some people are too connected. Like I said, I work as well 7 days in a week and I don't have a free day for myself because I do as well try to do as well another kind of work, but I am 7 days working and 6 days are in a theater. So still I try to be spontaneous. Still I try to meet friends. Still when a rehearsal it's earlier done, I start to have my own life and not and when somebody asks me how I am, I will say like I'm good and not like I'm singing here and that. And
Yeah.
so I think this bubble and this pressure it comes from us and comes because we don't want to agree some stuff. We don't want to confront some problems that we have. And sometimes artists can be very they some artists wants to live in this bubble and then you can be like go outside of the bubble and you will see that maybe are much more possibilities than you ever thought and or I had friends that they got fired from a work from a position and they thought it's the end of the world and I said see this that maybe it's a time to have another bigger opportunity and it happens like that and then they would call me and say like thank you in this moment I thought like that everything like the world shut down and everything it's not possible but it's not like that it's and that's why it's important to remember that it's just a job to not let to affect you until here inside to destroy you as well it's not worth it.
Yeah, and I think it's also important that, like you say, there's a world outside, and you have to be part of that world as well. You cannot just be in this bubble.
No, no, it makes me when people are always like I want to sing this role I want to do this and I'm like okay I hope the best for you but maybe you're missing out to experience a whole new world and a whole new excitement and great productions for you because sometimes our like I said I think we it's not good coming from an artist saying this but I think that we create this bubble and this is what it makes me actually sad in many and especially when you have close friends and you have to be honest and vulnerable with them and you want really the best for them you want to say to them like try to go out from there and you will see that maybe some great possibilities will come for you this is because this is how I work with myself and this competition I never thought about the competition I really never thought like I told you in this talent show I wanted to leave 1 week before I was like I don't care I called my dad. I was like, I want to come home. And if I would not talk with my dad, I would leave because for me was I was not going so well emotionally that moment. I was missing my parents and everything was too much stress for me like a young and the showbiz and the how the TV works and everything was so intense. So I was like, okay, I will just go home. And I remember it was with votes, with televoting, and I was for many weeks the first. And I remember that many of other colleagues in this competition, they would say, like, why you're not acting like super happy or super and I was like, no, I am happy and thankful that they are voting me, but what should I do now
Yeah.
to dance the whole day or to make a performance to all of you how good I am and of course list every time changed. I was one day the first one, and because I never had in my head this competition, I have to be the first, I have to be the best. Even in a production in Vienna, we had just two shows for a role, and the registrar decided to ask who will play the premiere and who will play the dernier. He said, like, both of you are very good for me, and I leave this in your hands. And I remember I was eating with my colleague, and I said, like, you're gonna sing in the premiere. And he opened his eyes and he was like, why? And I said, like, because you sing better than me this role. And he was very surprised. And he said, like, no, but your high notes are better than my high notes. I was like, no, but the whole role, it's better for. So then we start arguing
Argue.
in a funny way who is better. And then I found it beautiful. And then in the end, I was like, it's fine. It's more a role for your voice, and you can do the premiere. I will do the dernier, because I never had this jealousy or this impact of I have to show something that I'm better than you. Because maybe it's in something inside that you know that you can deliver, you can give a role, an emotion in your way. Why I have to
Yeah.
be competitive with somebody else? Like he was as well a big guy like me, and but different, from a different culture and different way of representing himself. So we were both so different. So I was not keeping myself and my mind busy of saying like, uh, can I be better than him, or can I? He was tall from Iceland and blonde and with green eyes. I am from Balkan with like, what should I think now? Why I don't have the blue eyes or the
Yeah.
green eyes? Stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah. But
It's
I think this is also sometimes what I think everybody has their own special quality, you
yeah.
know, and even though there can be many singers, but everybody brings something else. So there's no need to be a competition, really.
Yes, of course. And you don't need to fight for this. What I find it in the beginning that I had to not fight, but to show was this stigma when you come from a Balkan country. They think that, for example, in operetta, you will not be charmant enough, or you will not be. I remember that my professor, when we did Fledermaus, I did Eisenstein, and he said to me, you took out from my head the stigma of like people from Balkan cannot be charmant and cannot be very
Yeah.
very fine and very elegant. And for this, I was happy. I felt, you can feel when somebody had this smell that it's not trusting on you,
Mhm.
and I was like, I will show you that I can be this. And this drive makes me working hard, and this way of competition, if we want to say it, makes me like very busy of saying like, oh, I will let you know that your thoughts and how you are thinking maybe are totally wrong, and then when it's turned out differently in the end, then you're very happy that you that you
Yeah.
change your mind, that you change as well a perspective of a country, of a culture, that it's not
Mhm.
like they thought. And this is, I think, very important, because there
Yeah.
are a lot of stigmas and the way for Balkan or Albania, or I will hear some bad jokes that I will not laugh, and I sometimes I will act that I didn't understand, and
Mhm.
sometimes I will give a nice answer so they will uh, understand that it's not funny.
Mhm.
At least be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And well, I'm from South Africa, and there are jokes about us as well. So
hmm I'm sure, yeah.
yeah.
My register of Titanic, it's from there, Prinsloo.
Oh,
Leonard
yes, I know very
Leonard
well.
Prinsloo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
send him my regards
I
when you
will. I will. I
yeah.
hope I will see him again, because we're now just doing the shows, but
Oh, I
sometimes they come to
see.
the public. Yeah,
Yeah. No, oh, he's such a nice guy, you know,
yeah.
such a lovely, talented person. Yeah. So, that's wonderful. But now, Branimir, what are still the wishes for you for the future? How what do you see happen for you? What do you wish?
I love actually what I'm doing right now, that I'm doing musicals, operette, like I see myself more in musical and operette. I see as well that the public wants this more, and I see that the public is much more focused. I don't agree of doing an opera and trying to put some modern costumes and trying to change the history of the opera. So the young people, the young generation gonna come, they were not gonna come. If if somebody doesn't love opera, they will not come if you just like give them a phone in their hands and give them
Yeah.
some modern dresses. This is
I-
totally my personal.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you there.
So that's why I like it more. It's not just about what the public wants, but I like it more and enjoy it more as well. Musicals and operetta are, for me right now, it's a joy. When I do a operetta or a musical, I am very, very happy because I am productive 100%. Like I have, for example, even now in Titanic, I play one of the officers, then I play the band boy, and I have to play trompeta and sing. Then I am the guy from the third class singing, I want to go in America and I want to be a engineer. And I am so happy and I can't wait to go in America. So I jump in one piece in 3, 4 different characters. Like once I'm in first class, when I'm in third class, then once I'm band boy guy, then I am the officer. So I change more than 7 times during the show, and it's very intense.
Amazing.
It's very intense, but this makes me very, very awake and very. And I see that the public really, really enjoy it very much. And I can see as well, especially musicals, are different ages that are coming, and you see that there's where we are going. People are loving very much the.
Yeah.
I'm not a identando or regisseur to think how you could put in a smart way some amazing operas so even the young people can come. But sadly, I see that especially in opera, are the age are the young people are not so much interested in the. Maybe they just have to keep it classic and how it used to be, and maybe because I think even the young generation, sorry, it's expecting that just to have a very normal classical evening, and that's it, without trying to change the piece and the history.
Exactly, yeah. I totally agree with you there. And I just spoke to a South African singer the other day, and we were talking about this, that maybe lighter operas, maybe where people know the melodies, or where it's familiar, where people really want or they enjoy that,
Like
So
Carmen or Bohème or yeah.
And he said they have a guest house, and when they have Italian visitors there, and he plays the light classical music that he recorded, the Italian music, then they would get up from the breakfast table and start dancing. And you think, that is what it's all about, The music should inspire and should lift your spirit.
And I think have to be for everybody.
Yeah.
The music have to be for everybody, not from a part of the society and thinking, no, you're not too, you're maybe too, you don't understand this music, or trying to be very. I think music have to be for everybody, and it's very simple and beautiful. It can come for everybody very easily.
No, that's true. But I so love your outlook on life, on what you're doing, and I think absolutely the experience you had, although it was not a good experience when you were 16, I think that made
I mean,
you.
it was not a bad experience,
Yeah,
but
but
still
I
I
mean,
had.
it was not so. But I do think it did change how you cope with
Things, yeah.
artistic life. Because you've been there, you've done that full on, and now you can almost step aside and look at it and see it for what it is. So I think that you've got such a mature way of looking at it.
That's why, because I think I was too young. Thank you for the kind words, but I think I was too young and I was not prepared. And then through this process, I had to learn. I was forced to learn some things. And then, like today, when I see like experience was one of the most important experience, even though with 16, but I learned a lot and it makes me to be ready for what's gonna come.
Exactly.
And
And I
how to
wonder,
present.
yeah, and I wonder from talking to you now, if maybe the training, for singers and for musicians should, yes, it's very important, the technique and the, doing it, but that's something that you always learn, it's something that you continuously work on. But that experience of carrying yourself, the self-confidence, the what's inside me, what can I give, that's also important part of being an artist, and that should be more focused on, I think, because you'll never be perfect in your technique, but you can be a performer and you can learn to express yourself in that way.
I totally agree with you. I remember even in my studies, were like young artists that they were like just, oh, now I will go home and now being like too brav, like being too. And I was like, no, I was going out after a lesson. I wanted to go out. I wanted to meet some people. I wanted to dance. I wanted to have my experience. I wanted to fall in love. I wanted to get hurt from somebody, to get disappointed, to hurt my feelings, not to get hurt from somebody.
Yeah.
To get disappointed, to experience life, to meet somebody, to have a talk, to know a new language, to know a new kind of view. It helped me as well because I speak five different languages. So it helped me as well to know the Italian culture, the Spanish, the German, the English. So
Exactly.
it's very important to live your life. People think that, or a young artist to think that I just have to be very focused in this area and I have to uh, eat very well and I had to sleep at 10 o'clock so I can be very yeah, it's great to be so mature, but in the same time, uh, you should not experience everything in life to bring it on the stage, but you have to experience something in your personal life so you can keep it for yourself and use it for the stage. Because if you never felt any emotions about your personal life, how you gonna convince 800 people, 10 people, 5 people, doesn't matter how many people are in front of you, but how you're gonna convince them that you are in love, that you are scared, that you are disappointed. And many are so concentrated about the voice, about the technique, that I totally agree that maybe I should give more attention to that part, and it's very important because then you are totally ready. But as well, you have to experience feelings and life, and that's how you bring them, and that's how you are real on the stage. And if you don't give something from your self, will never I think you will not send a message. Like, you have to feel something inside of you that it's going on. Again, in the Titanic, in this moment, it's the end of the first act when this thing happens, and I'm like driving it, and we crush the iceberg, and I'm in this shock, and then it's a blackout, and then it's the curtain down for the first act, and I'm still for 1 minute there because I'm still inside this emotions, and I cannot be like, okay, it's done. and they are like, Brani, you have to move because we have to change the scene and the skill. But I need some seconds or 1 minute because I'm already in this way. Like we just we just crushed an iceberg, and I really believe it in that moment because I think if I don't believe it, they will not. Even if I will
Exactly.
act like dramatically, they will get it that I am just acting. But if it comes real and you don't even need to play it too much, and if it comes real, they feel it. Oh, it's happening something horrible, and it's done. You don't
Yeah,
need to do it extra. And it's very, very, very important what you just said, like that it's so much important how you should present yourself. And at the same time, I think you have to really have time for yourself, to really take time for yourself and think that in the end of the day, it's an amazing, wonderful job, but it's a job.
exactly.
And
Mm.
this is very, very important. And not to get involved and to give 100% if you're in your work. I don't know differently as well. My dad and my mom, they work all their life every day. So for me, it's nothing to work hard, to be a hard worker.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's normal thing that you have to work hard. And it's even when I'm sick of it and I call my dad and he's like, but you're at home? Because for our mentality, it's like, you have a bit,
Yeah.
you're a bit
Yeah.
cold, but you have to be there and still be 100%. You really have to be sick to not go. And then he's like, and who is doing the role and like, he's concerned in a funny way
Yeah.
more about the work than about me. I'm like, I'm sick right now. So, and he's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
so the importance of the work, it was always for me that it's very important and you have to take it seriously and be 100% in your work. But when you're outside of that, keep yourself busy with other things because life, it's not just there on stage.
Exactly. I mean, I also come from a family where my father is a businessman, and we so used to, Saturdays, he worked Saturdays in the evenings when something had to be done. So there was no fixed working hours. So for me, it's also, there's no thing clocking off at 5 o'clock and it's done.
No,
It's you
no,
just
same,
yeah, yeah,
same,
and that
same.
and that's so important that you have to enjoy and also that you enjoy your free time. That you have.
Exactly.
My daughter is going to kill me, but I'm going to tell you she used to be a
Say it.
she used to be a ballet dancer,
Uh-huh.
and all her friends, most of her friends, okay, of course, in the company she has friends, but she also had friends outside, and she also used to weekends stay out late and
Enjoying her
enjoy
life. Yeah,
herself and but the socializing with other people also shows you other things in life. It also shows you other people's problems and other people's lives and other
perspectives. Yeah,
people's work. So it's true that you're saying that you have to get out of that bubble to also have that understanding. And of course, your audience, they are the people who are not
exactly.
necessarily the artists. So you have to also understand to connect with them.
Exactly. And they feel it when they see that you are like in this bubble and look at me and how good I
Yeah.
am. And they can feel it. And then you come immediately not a sympathetic person.
Mm.
And then even if you can sing amazing, they can see that your attitude, even if you're acting, they can see that your attitude is not the right one. And I think people that are sitting there, they want to see somebody that it's like them. They don't want to see somebody that it's like too
Exactly.
that it's like untouchable. They want to see people from the real life because theater, it's based in what happens in the real life and what emotions, and everybody says like everybody gets hurt, everybody can fall in love, everybody is scared, everybody makes good decisions, wrong decisions. So everybody gets like connected with a part in a piece and said like, I was as well in this point of my life, or oh, I wish I could decide differently.
Exactly.
that's why I think why it's theater existing, because it makes you reflect when you are sitting there and thinking, oh, I wish I could do this in this way, or I could be so brave, or I'm so happy that I did this in this way, so brave, like this character. Like gives you different opinions about how you took your life, how you made your own decisions. Mhm.
And although not, I mean, I think also you bring then people to the theater because they are your friends then and they want to come and see you. So you bring people to the theater who wouldn't necessarily have come. Because I know from my daughter, there were people coming to watch her that's never been to the ballet, but just
Yes,
because they met her at Volksgarten,
exactly. This is such a
they
good
wanted to
thing.
come. So it's maybe one or two, but still, you know, you bring because people are then interested in you, and then they want to come to the theater.
It's so true. And I have to tell you something. When I know that a show is good, I ask my non-artistic friends when they come to see it, and I believe to them more than to my artistic friends.
Really? Yeah.
When they because they don't have any idea how a theater works or something, and then they come with this brutally honesty, and then
Exactly.
I'm like, if they like this show, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And because artists are always trying to not hurt your feelings, to be honest, but not too honest, but to have a filter, but to not say it. And friends that are not with this business, with this show business, they go like, I like this thing, I didn't like this one, I love this part, I didn't like this part. And then I believe to my friends that had nothing to do with art more actually it sounds funny, but more
No,
I
but that's
believe to
true.
them than to the artistic ones. Of course, the artists they know more about details and about, but like the whole picture without not because if you ask a singer, maybe this person is thinking I could do this role better. I could so they immediately the artist
Yeah.
goes like about themselves a bit and they try I could do this role better or this person this character was not so if you ask somebody that has nothing to do with this has no interest about being on that stage or about trying to show something they give you this like in a brutal way the honesty of what they think and I
Yeah.
believe them more.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. And that's the majority of the audience. And I always think, and even in if I look at ballet, for example, the majority of the audience don't know uh, much about the technique and don't know
Mhm.
much about what you know what you have to do or what the dancers are supposed to look like or do. And then they want to be entertained and they want to experience this and they want this feeling and they want to sense things and that's why I think why I mentioned also that at the end of the day the people in the theater want to have that experience. They are not so bothered about and the here I don't say technique is not important, but I'm just saying that they're not that bothered about it. They rather want that feeling and that experience than you know than having this perfect aria and
Yeah.
no feeling
Yes,
involved.
and I would love to listen to this beautiful technique and perfect technique in a today in a recording, but like on the stage you
Yeah.
have to give me more than just your beautiful voice.
Du musst auch lustig sein, du musst auch etwas peinlich machen. Alle haben ein paar Töne, aber zu spielen und zu erleben, das ist schwer. Du musst Vollgas auf die Bühne stehen und ja, Rock'n'Roll.
And of course, our arias and our roles that I will not even touch it because I know how difficult they are. And I know that I cannot do them good. I'm totally um, sure about that. But still, it doesn't mean that you have to move a lot to give meaning, but you could just use your eyes to say something and to mean it, because I work with some colleagues that I was really like singing a love duet and they were not even looking at me, and I was like, we're singing to each other how much we love each other, and you're not even looking at me, you're just like singing beautiful and amazing technique and amazing voice, but for me was nothing, because was not interacting with me at all, was not interacting with the public at all. And you could see that in the eyes. It's like just like if somebody hypnotized them, or and I felt like, okay, you have a voice, but you are not an artist. And this is how I see it. You can have a beautiful voice, but that doesn't mean that you belong to the theater.
Exactly.
And I think the moment it doesn't matter how great, my professor told me, it doesn't matter how great this technique or this, if you can sell it to me, you did a good job. If you gave it to me, the role, you did a good job. I remember as well when I was studying and I was watching, especially operetta or something, I was like, this guy doesn't have any voice or something, or but this guy comes from acting, from Schauspiel, he doesn't have a voice. Yeah, and now and then later I understood, yes, he doesn't, but he's the character, 100% the character that this piece needs. It's this guy. And then you see it, okay, he has to sing maybe a tercet or a little, it's not the main role that has to show the beautiful melody. It's singing just some funny parts or something, not that important in the way of the technique. And he can deliver it amazing. And somebody else that can have the best technique ever, it's not the character. And you could do everything, but you cannot put in this character. And what I find it even more sad, it's when I see that are very like beautiful, talented young people that they could make it in an amazing way, but they are so concentrated in their own uh, technique, in their own limits, and they're like, no, it's no, this is too much, or even to move. I never had a dancing class or something, but when it's a choreo, and even I remember that the choreographer will say like, the people that doesn't want to do this number, they can say I don't want to do it, and I was like, I want to do it, because I wanted to. I am like 1 meter 92 big, and I'm like 100 kilo, but still I will show you that I will be very easy and I will do it. And I love it to change the opinions of people that they can have in their own I know, to not look ridiculous, of course, but to do the thing right. But in the same time, if it's a bit of stigma or if it's a bit of judgmental way of thinking, I don't take it this like in a very upset way and saying like, you don't like me because of this. So I like, okay, you don't like, or you have some judgmental opinions or that are totally wrong. Okay, I will show you that, and I will try to change your way of thinking. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you do that. I think that's very brave.
Yes. I danced for Riches or for the next show. I could see that he was like, you stay there and these people will dance. And then I was like, oh, you like to dance? And then I did some pirouette and some stuff. And he was like, okay, come and dance. So sometimes you have to show that.
You have to prove
you
yourself.
You have to prove and say like, oh yeah, you think this big guy cannot move 2 steps, but I will show you that I can.
Yeah. No, I like that too. I like that spirit that you have.
Yeah.
But Branimir, this was so wonderful talking to you. You've got really such a lovely personality and such a wonderful outlook. And I hope to see you one day and meet you in person.
Yeah, same. It was really great because many friends of mine as well did these nice conversations with you. And for example, Annette Liepina, it's a very good friend of mine.
Oh, really?
And
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
she
And
is
some
so
others,
lovely.
and some others that I studied with, Valentin Trandafie, and many other people and I saw it on Instagram, and I found it very lovely, and I appreciated what you do as well, because it's important as well to have some thoughts and opinions of some artists. And I saw in your account how beautiful and how multicultural your account looks like, and it's incredibly beautiful that you give this space to people from different countries, different cultures, different aspects of arts, and different minds, because I am sure that everybody thinks in a different way, and that you
Absolutely.
get that as well for yourself. And it was nice because I got as well a lot from you, and I thought very good that we think alike in many topics, and this made me as well like thinking, okay, I'm doing the right things.
Absolutely.
We always need this agreement. Was I good? Did I do a good job? Did I give it the right opinion? We always have our doubts, and it's okay. And when you have such a nice conversation, then you think, okay, I'm doing the right thing.
Absolutely, yeah. No, and it's also so interesting that I just a few was it last week or in the beginning of the week that I posted an interview with Dolly Henry. She's a jazz choreographer in England, and it's interesting that it was the same type of conversation about not thinking in the box and about presenting yourself and being who you are. And then I find it so interesting how sometimes within 2 weeks, I find people who talk the same type of thing, and it was not planned and I didn't know that before. So then I think, okay, so this is a lovely message that goes out, because it goes out continuously with people, talking about that. So
to not stay in a box, and to really live as well your life, not your artistic life.
Exactly.
Live your life. It's very important. And think it's a beautiful, amazing, adorable job, but it's a job.
Yeah.
And your family, your friends are as well more important. And the job, it's amazing that you have this ability to stay on stage and to give some emotions to people. It's great opportunity, and you're very lucky to have that. But still, it's just a part of you. That's it.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah, rock and roll.